Hey folks, David Stewart here. Hope y'all are having a great day. Let's go ahead and hop into it today. Depending on how things go, I may only stream an hour tonight because Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles is actually going live in a couple hours here. It's technically supposed to release on the 27th, but they're doing the 27th, I guess, by Eastern Standard Time, as far as like this region goes. So, 9 o'clock my time, should be able to play the game. So I may stream that. If you never played Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, I guess I'll talk about this for a minute because it's a gaming stream. This was a great game for the Nintendo GameCube from back in the day. But if you wanted to play the game the real way, you had to get 4 Game Boy Advances. They show the Game Boy Advance SP because they're like, hey, you got to get the new one. You got to get 4 Game Boy Advances and 4 link cables to plug into your GameCube because everybody needs their own screen to like queue up menu commands and stuff like that. And then you can play the game the real way, and it's like an action RPG, very colorful, great music, really fun gameplay. If you're playing the single player version of the game, it's just not quite as good. It's an okay game if you play. I played it single player, and it's not that bad. I never really got to play a ton of multiplayer because it's really hard. You know, I was in college when this came out in like 2003. It's really hard to get 4 people together with 4 Game Boy Advances and 4 Game Boy Advance link cables to sit in a room. And of course, like, my Game Boy Advance was the original one. I bought it when it came out. So for me to play, I had to like get a light and like shine it on the Game Boy Advance so I could like barely see the screen, because it doesn't, it didn't have a backlight back in the day. So you had to figure out some way to get light on the thing in order for you to see the screen to like issue the commands. And so that was what you had to do if you wanted to play was get all that hooked up. And you can't, unfortunately, do it with I don't have my DS, my original DS here. Can't do it with a Nintendo DS because it doesn't have the Game Boy input link. So you have to use some version of the Game Boy Advance if you want to go back and play this on GameCube. So yes, the GameCube edition is pretty darn good, and I think you can still use it on the Wii. So if you have a Wii and you can get the hardware together, you could probably do this. In like the old school kind of way. I don't think you could run it on like the Wii U. That might be a little bit more difficult to actually run it on the Wii U. Have you watched any Akira Kurosawa movies? I think I have, but I know I have, but I don't know if I've watched enough to like really say like what my favorite actually is. So anyway, yeah, there's this. I'll tell you a little bit about what the remaster is if you haven't paid attention to it. If you listen to the fan blathering, it's going to be a lot of negativity for things that actually don't make sense when you stop and think about them. But I do have a point which I want to make, which is forced limitations of an experience often produce the qualities of the experience, and that is something that you're going to have to keep in mind if you're going to play the new version of Crystal Chronicles or any say remastered game from the past that kind of force you to operate the game in a certain kind of way. So here's what they did is they made the game online multiplayer only. Now people hear that like, wait a minute. The whole fun of this game was getting your 4 friends together, which would happen once every 6 months maybe, getting 4 Game Boy Advances and 4 Game Boy Advance link cables. Everyone had to go out and buy that. Hook them up, sit around. We were in college, so we drank beer, right? And play this game all night long. And that's the experience. That's the nostalgic experience people want to recapture. So no local co-op, that's a bad thing. But the way that they set it up is that it's multi-platform. You can play cross-platform. So basically everybody could just bring their Nintendo Switch over to somebody's house, and then you would have couch co-op. And you could look at one person's screen, hook one person up to the TV, and everybody's going to be on the screen unless you want to run off into the miasma and die because of the way the gameplay works. It's really, you might have your own screen of you running away from the bucket and just killing yourself with the miasma, but nobody's going to do that. So you could totally have the exact same experience you had if you chose to have it. But there's a counterpoint to that, which is the fact that it forced you. The only way to experience it was to get 4 people physically in the room to have that experience and to do the actual couch co-op and to have your separate screens. It was such a novel experience. It's really hard to describe if you never got to do it. At the time, it was like, what? We're all using our Game Boy Advances to play a GameCube game, and we're like, it was so out of this world. And then the Wii U came out. People were like, why would I have to look at 2 screens? This is dumb. It's like, no, this was so cool. And because you were forced to do that, to have all this setup, it made the experience more meaningful because it was rarer and because you could only experience it in one way. And so the fond memories you have is not really a game like Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, just like your memories of maybe playing GoldenEye with your friends and eating pizza are not. It's not really GoldenEye. It's the fact that you're hanging out with friends, with fellow human beings in a social environment where you guys were very close and honest, and it was very real. It was a very real experience with real people versus an MMO experience. And MMO experiences have gotten less social over the years too. But even, say, early World of Warcraft or even EverQuest, EverQuest was not like this because people didn't use TeamSpeak until way later. But like early WoW, people were using voice chat pretty quickly on. You're talking to another person and it's very social, but it's not the same as sitting on the couch next to the person, sharing a pizza, arguing over who has the right pizza, watching that person's face when something crazy happens, watching their body react. All that stuff is really, can't really be replaced. Now for, I think it was my brother-in-law's bachelor party, we actually had it at my house, and we played Diablo 3 on my PlayStation 4, like all day and then like all night long while drinking and like eating pizza and stuff, I think. And actually, no, we didn't drink because I think my brother-in-law had stopped drinking at that point. But we did we had a lot of fun pigging out on donuts and stuff and playing Diablo 3. And because we were limited to that one big screen and we were sitting next to each other, like 4 controllers, 4 characters, we like leveled up to max level and did a bunch of fun stuff in one day. And it was a really, really fun experience. But the fun experience was not Diablo 3 because we had played it on PC. We could go play it on PC again with each other and talk to each other over Ventrilo or over maybe, I don't know what's the new one, Discord, over Discord or something. It wouldn't be the same as being in the same physical room. You're missing portions of that social experience. So, yes, playing Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles online with your friends. And this is the only way that I'm really going to get to play with my friends because we now live in different places, friends in Seattle, friends in Texas, friends across the city who can't really come over to my house, or because of the pandemic, they don't want to. And because I had the Rona, they don't want to come over to my house and get sick and spread the pestilence about. But so I can't really have that experience. So it's really great to have the online experience, and it can be approximately close. But if you wanted to, you could choose to have the exact same experience, only better because it'd be in higher definition. Not only that, but people would have whatever device they want to play on. Now, here's what's cool about this too. I do want to mention this is not like a sales pitch for like the Crystal Chronicles Remastered. I just want to explain that like the developers really cared about this. This is really rare that I see a developer actually give a crap about the consumer and their experience and not like milking the consumer. It's $30 to buy this game, not $60. I paid $60 for the Final Fantasy 12 Remaster and I didn't feel gypped. It's a great game. $30 for this, no big deal. For me, at least. For other people, it might be a bigger deal. But you don't have to actually buy the game to play it. So there's another version called the Crystal Chronicles Lite, and you can play through, I think, the first 3 dungeons of the game for free. But if you are partied, if you're playing with somebody who owns the full game, you could play all the way to the end of the game with them, just like how only one person had to actually own, the disc. Only one person had to have this disc. Everybody else just had to have a Game Boy Advance. And they were able to do it. So as long as you have a device that can run the program, you can play with your friends just like how you used to back in ye old ancient times. So they really thought about this. Like the people who are running this, I'm trying to remember who was in charge of it. He he didn't actually work on Crystal Chronicles. He was just like a huge fan of it. He was like a mega fan of this game, and was working for other studios or something at the time. So he really thought about all this. Like, okay, not everyone's going to have. We need a second screen. Not everyone's going to like carry their Nintendo Switch in or have like a 3DS or something. How are we going to make this work? And so the result was we'll just go really wide cross-platform, and everybody just brings whatever device they want to play on. And they can play on the couch. So someone will bring their Switch. Other people, it runs on an Android phone, and I think there's an iOS version. So if you have a phone, I don't think you even need a controller. I think you can even do it just all touch controls, which is, I haven't played it. I'm going to play around with all that this week and probably get like a little bit more like fully featured. Here's how it works, because it's really, they really thought about a lot of this stuff. So whatever device you have in your pocket, you can pop it out. Like, let's play Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. And you can do it. You download that light version. You don't have to buy it. So only one person in your group that wants to play has to actually buy the game. And that's just like it was of yore. Only one person had to buy Dungeons & Dragons for you to play Dungeons & Dragons. Like, especially like the Dungeon Master's Guide or something like that. Or even the monster. You didn't have to buy the monster manual, right? The DM was doing the monsters for you. So just one person really needed the game. That was kind of cool. So that goes live at 9. I might stream that later. I bought it on PlayStation 4 rather than Nintendo Switch, because I want to play with my son. My son saw this game. We played it on the GameCube a while back, because I still have my GameCube and everything. And he's like, he really likes it. It has kind of a cutesy aesthetic. He's 5. It's got some really fun, cool monsters. And it's just a really good game with good gameplay that he wanted to play. It's like, okay, he can play it on the Nintendo Switch, because I have a Nintendo Switch. Or he could play it on my phone, and that'll work. And between me and my wife, we have enough for like 4 people to play at some point if we wanted to. So if I have a friend come over, if they want to play, or I just call my friend up and be like, hey, you want to play this? Here's the friend code. And you put in the code and put in the part. There's a party code and a friend code. You put in the party code, you join the party, and bam, you're out there playing. And there's also like an online matchmaking system. So they thought about all this stuff. So really, they're not asking you to like, everybody's got to buy their own console and has to pay $30 for it, and buy the PS Plus online subscription, and buy the Nintendo Switch online. So, you have to have those to play online, because that's the way that they do that. But if you have a phone, if you want to play it on your phone, you don't have to pay that. So it could be potentially completely free, completely free for people who just want to whip out their Android phone and play it on. That's really cool. So they put a lot of thought into doing that for the consumer, and that's something that really, really made a lot of sense to me. It's possible to recreate that experience, including the people there. But I guess this is my point, is that people tend to go for whatever has the least resistance, which is to say, we could come over and play it on your couch, but we could play without me having to drive over. So let's just do that. And that's what ends up happening, and that's one of the reasons that we get so physically separated compared to, I guess, days of yore or whatever. So you can make a point to do that, and that's, I think, a big advantage of tabletop D&D rather than online D&D. I've been trying to find like online D&D solutions for years, and I just have to stop and think. It's like, part of the flavor of Dungeons and Dragons is playing at a table with 4 other physical human beings, and that's very hard to find. And maybe that's just an experience that is fleeting, and you don't really get to have much of again, and that makes it a little bit more special. But anyway, so that's what it is. If they had forced you to have local co-op only, like everybody had to bring over their own Nintendo Switch, far fewer people would play it. Far fewer people get to experience it the way it was actually designed to be played with 4 people back in the day. And you just wouldn't have as much of a recreation of what was actually going on there. It'd be way harder for people to experience it. Anyway, so let's check out the chat. I guess I want to start that. It puts me in a good mood, because I'm really excited about a classic game. I'm not usually excited about remasters and stuff, because I think they're kind of like a money grab. But in this case, it's like, yeah, they are asking for money because they put a lot of work into this. But you are actually going to be getting a full product, like a full game. And also, you don't even have to buy it to play it. What? That's crazy. You play with your friend without buying. Like, imagine that Blizzard said, yeah, you could play Diablo 3 as much as you want for free, as long as somebody in the party owns the game. Now, technically, that's the truth on the PlayStation 4. But they didn't do that for their online play. They didn't do that but they did it for online play. Square Enix did this for online play. That's crazy. Kaku says, I believe we are past the point of having that somatic interaction and physical ownership in video gaming since each generation shifted away from it. That is completely possible. The other thing is, like I said, it's more about the people than it is about the game. The game is fun, and that facilitates the social interaction. You could have a similar thing with trap shooting, right? Or golfing, right? If you're not into shooting. You guys should all take up trap shooting, though. It's a great sport, lots of fun. Builds skills. It's loud, which is fun. And it builds skill. You could use your trap shooting skills to kill some birds in a survival situation. So, yeah, just get together with other men and go trap shooting. And I feel like men need, since men tend to bond around activities, men need more activities. And we remember our bonding activities. A lot of people in my generation, Gen Y, the bonding activity was like playing Nintendo 64 or like GameCube games, after work or after school or something in our youth. That was a lot of our bonding experiences because so many of the other ones had kind of gotten stripped out. It was too expensive for any of us to play golf. Trap shooting was something that it's very niche, if we're being realistic, or going hunting, a lot of the male activities have been stripped out of our society. So it's hard, it's hard to recapture a lot of those. Wargaming, any activity that puts men together, you're going to have that bonding experience, and that's really valuable. But you're right. I think each generation has shifted away from that physical, that physical base in video gaming. And you see here, primarily use the Wii U to watch Alex Jones and Box Day on the big screen. Nice. The Wii U is actually an amazing platform. It's still probably my favorite console that I own. It has a great library. I said this on Twitter earlier. If you have a Wii U, you get the entire Switch library at a discount. I just look at it. It's like, oh, hey, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze came out on the Switch. I'm like, I think I remember that for the Wii U. I never bought it. Oh, I can buy it for $20. Done. I'll just go buy the Nintendo Selects Wii U version for $20 and not spend $60 on a Switch game. Why would I do that? So I don't. So like most of the games that people are buying for Switch, and they're like, maybe they're gonna come out with a Super Mario 3D World. I already own it. They came out with a new Super Mario Bros. U. I'm like, I already have it, and the new Super Luigi. I had all of it. Oh, we're gonna come. Mario Kart 8. I already had it. I had everything that came out on the Switch. I had on the Wii U, including Breath of the Wild. So. Like I already have the entire Switch library on Wii U. Makes the Switch kind of like it's a cool system, but it's like I feel like it's a less capable. I mean, it's technically more capable in terms of hardware power, but less capable in terms of what you can do with it. Less capable Wii U that happens to be portable, but not that portable. Not like a 3DS, right? Like this is a 3DS XL. I'm a big man though. I can put this in my pocket. It's not that big for my big hands. Oh, a Switch is still like. I'm playing like Atari. I feel like it's an Atari Lynx, but, way better. So I'm like holding an Atari Lynx in my hand. But other portables, I can just like throw those in my pocket. I think I have a PlayStation Vita in here somewhere. Oh yeah, here's my Vita. Right. PlayStation Vita. That one also fits in my pocket. This feels like a portable. It feels like a handheld. Switch, it is portable technically, but you need like a trench coat or something. Or what were those big jeans back in the 90s? The like Janko jeans. You gotta have Janko jeans for like the Nintendo Switch to actually be like a handheld portable device. Let me just pop my Nintendo Switch in my pocket. I'm like, who has pockets like that? Oh, that guy with the Janko jeans from the 90s. That's who's got those pockets. Watched your Red Pill stream and enjoyed it. Do you do pull-ups, and what's your advice for doing them? Okay, great question. I do pull-ups. So this is not the best. This is not the best pull-up bar, but I'll just show you. I had this over in the closet, it's a door frame pull-up bar. You can do a ton of back training with this. You really can only grab here and here, but those are the two main grips I think that are useful. You can do underhand, you can do inline grip, and then you can do overhand. And you can do a couple other ones, like if you want to do grip strength, you could do like finger pull-ups like this. This is against the wall. It's like for rock climbing. If you want to do like rock climbing stuff, that will wear your hands out like quick. It'll hurt. So you can do these. If you've never trained pull-ups before, so at this point it's like 8 years ago, but I couldn't do a pull-up until I was 29. So I'll tell you the story. Couldn't do a pull-up till I was 29. Why? No one ever taught me how to train my back, including my dad, who was like an unlimited class wrestler and bodybuilder. He just didn't really teach me how to train at all. He like bought weights and was like, you can train with them. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. You know, it wasn't until I bought Arnold Schwarzenegger's like book and I actually figured out how to train and had the motivation to do it that I actually did it. So here's what you can do. First of all, if you can't do one pull-up, there's probably two things holding you back. You're weak and you're fat. No offense. But if you lose weight, it's like taking weight off the bar. It gets easier and easier the lighter you get. You know, and I'm weaker. Right now I'm on a pretty severe diet because, you know, I meant to diet down for this summer and stuff, and it just didn't happen. I got sick. I'm like, gotta get rid of some of this weight. Right? I need to lose about 20 pounds. So I get really weak on a diet. Most people do. You feel physically weaker. It's still easier to do pull-ups because it's like, I took 10 pounds off the bar. I lost 10 or 15 pounds of fat. Boom. It's easier to do the pull-ups. You know, you go from doing sets of 5 to sets of 10 without doing anything. So if you can't do one pull-up, you got to solve that. So get on a diet. If you're overweight, lose some weight. Here's the other thing you can do. So this worked wonderfully for me. Even when I was overweight, I was able to work from 0 pull-ups to like being able to do like 20 pull-ups. Okay. And I probably couldn't do a set of 20 right now. I could probably do like 10, but you know, because I'm not in as good a shape as I used to be. But you start by get on like a box or something, or just hop up and grab the bar. And then you just slowly lower yourself down. Try to control the motion as much as you can. Lower yourself down until you feel all the way the stretch in your lats if you can. Okay, if you can do all the way the stretch in your lats, this is going to train you to feel your back muscles. Because what tends to happen is people start to pull with their arms a lot. And they start, you know, trying to get their biceps. And you can even start with this. This will pull your biceps into it a lot. So you're doing what's called force negatives. And if you're doing force negatives, I really recommend that you start with some kind of either this grip or this neutral grip, because this will really help you feel your lats better than this. This will help you do one chin up. So when you're ready to start here, you know, and get it all the way down, that'll really help. But start here, put your eyes over the bar or your chin, and then slowly lower yourself down. And see how many of those you can do. See if you can do 5. So you can do 5, rest, do 5 more, rest. Then as you get stronger and stronger, you do as many pull-ups as you can do. If it's one pull-up, do one pull-up and then try to finish 5 to 8 force negatives. And you do that maybe a couple times a week or whenever you feel like you can do it. Probably not every day unless you're just not doing a lot of other stuff. You know, you need a little recovery time probably. So just do it whenever you're going to work out your back a couple times a week. I did it like 2 to 3 times a week. And within about a month, I went from 0 pull-ups. And I thought that like I could work up to a pull-up doing the like lat pull-down bar. And that didn't work. The force negatives did. I gained enough strength to do, and I learned the technique. If you get that stretch in the lats, you'll feel those lats. Feel your back contracting, getting that full feeling of your shoulder blades being pulled into the middle of your back as you do it, and that's where you're going to build a lot of strength. Now you build up to doing a set of pull-ups, and then you're just doing pull-ups. And pull-ups do a bunch of great things. They don't just work your back; they also work your core, because your core has to stabilize everything. So I find doing pull-ups and push-ups gives me a really good ab workout because that core has to be really stabilized all the time. So if you do say you want to do, you know, a set of pull-ups and then like a set of push-ups to rest your back and work a different set of muscles, then you do that alternating, you get 6 total sets. You'll actually feel, I get more sore in my abs than anywhere else because the abs are doing so much stabilization work just with those. It's like doing 6 sets of abs. So anyway, that's my recommendation to build up to one pull-up. If you're doing CrossFit stuff, what they do is they tend to count things that are pull-ups that are not pull-ups if you're trying to go for strength. which is they kip, which is where they rock their body and they like swing their body up onto the bar. Don't kip if you're trying to get strong. Kip if you're trying to just do reps. If the goal is to just do reps, of course you can kip. But what's the point? Like, why are you at the gym if it's to not get stronger? You know. So anyway, that's how I built up from 0 to eventually 20. When I was really lean, when I was under 200 pounds, 20 pull-ups was like, it was too easy. I started having to add weight. So what I do is I grab a dumbbell and grab a dumbbell with my knees and then start doing pull-ups with it. Drop the dumbbell, see how many more I could do. You know, that was a back workout. So pull-ups are big, and pull-ups are hard. And if you are like me and you grew up in standard PE where like they never taught you how to train, they didn't tell you how to do anything. PE was worthless. They taught you absolutely nothing of value. You might have a unit on like how to play basketball where you practice layups or something, but you never really learned how to do it. So it's something you have to figure out for yourself. There's a bunch of fitness YouTubers that'll basically tell you the same thing. I'll tell you that is absolutely what worked for me, and I got so much stronger doing that. And I learned to do that. You can do that with other things too, right? Like you can do that with, say, bench press if you have a spotter, right? Just do the negative, right? Because controlling the negative is part of your strength there too. Do you think that hypnotism is fake? Have played ICO. I'm not sure what that means. Do you think hypnotism is fake? So, great question. Here's the thing that I think about hypnotism. I think the people who believe they are hypnotized believe hypnotism is real, which basically means, most hypnotists, sorry, my chair is like broken and it keeps going like, most hypnotists will confirm this. The person being hypnotized has to take an active role in the hypnotism. That is, they have to believe in the hypnotism. You hypnotize yourself. The hypnotist is supposed to guide you through hypnotism. So I don't know. I think certain things of hypnotism, I mean, people say like they're able to, hypnotism is able to get them to stop smoking. And if that works for them, then who am I to say that hypnotism doesn't work? Clearly they did something and then they were able to alter their behavior as a result. I know Scott Adams is a hypnotist. And so obviously he's going to believe in certain things of hypnotism, but as far as like the magic trick hypnotism, I think that's fake. So if you go to, let's say you go to a magic show and they like bring up people and they hypnotize them to act like chickens, everybody's in on that one. That one's not real. But the hypnotism that's probably more real, which is like guided whatevers, that is probably real, but you have to believe in it and you have to be an active participant in it. I love trap shooting. We should go sometime. Where I live, we have one of the best trap shooting fields in California. It's called the Waterloo Gun and Bocce Club. It's in Stockton. Yeah. I haven't been out that way. I've just done it on the other side of Stanislaus County, like right across the river on the other side of Riverbank. Just with different guys that are, friends or acquaintances. They have a little, you have a puller set up, shoot the clay into an empty field, and that's what you do. And so that's what's kind of cool about trap. Skeet, you got to go to like you got to do like a real thing with skeet. Skeet's fun too. It's basically the same kind of sport, but skeet is a little bit more advanced. So those are great. I mean, it's a great thing to get in. You do a great skill. It's a lot of fun. To me, trap shooting is just way more fun than golfing, but if you like golfing's your thing, then that's great. And get you out and walk 18 holes. It's good for you. Good for you. And now I'm getting really good fitness advice. Tell me, is there anything your channel doesn't provide? I don't provide accounting services, or there's a bunch of crap I don't know. There's so much stuff that I don't know. And like I said, there's plenty of YouTube fitness gurus who are going to tell you this kind of stuff, and it's going to be free, and they'll guide you correctly, whether it's like Scooby or Hodge Twins or someone else. Hodge Twins, see, I knew the Hodge Twins originally because they did all these fitness videos like 10 years ago, and they were really good at it. They showed all kinds of different things they were trying out, And I always liked them because they were like relentless experimenters in whatever they were doing. They're like, now we're going to try this diet. Now we're going to try this diet. We're going to try this diet. No, I don't like this one. No, now we're doing fasting. Now we're doing, it's like, what? How can we take your advice if you're always doing something different? It's like, you got to try a lot of different stuff, guys. You got to try different things out and see what works. Jared says, I agree. PE was pretty useless with the exception of something like layups for basketball you mentioned. Yeah, you kind of learned layups, but you didn't really learn how to train or anything. It's just middle and high school recess is what Terry Reese says. It's like that, but you're graded for not changing clothes in front of other people, you know. We actually had a grade that was part of our physical fitness. So basically you couldn't get an A in PE if you were fat. That was real. I always got an A in PE because I wasn't fat in high school, but you know, if you were obese, you were failing PE in the school I went to because they had a significant portion of grade was this presidential physical fitness exam that like Arnold Schwarzenegger designed. Great, you're gonna have seven-time Mr. Olympia design what he thinks, you know, teenagers should be. This is a fitness test for teenagers. You're having like the best of the best, a world-class bodybuilder and a guy who broke world records for powerlifting. It's actually pretty good and accurate, but at the time it was like so over the capabilities of the kids there. It was astounding. They were just like, oh yeah, you know, in order to get maximum points, you got to do 10 pull-ups if you're over 16. I could do one. I could do one pull-up and I had like 9% body fat. I couldn't do more than one pull-up. And like there was one guy I knew in the entire school who could do 8 pull-ups. He couldn't even get to 10. And this guy was like jacked. You know, he was like completely the most athletic person I ever met in my entire life. And he could only do like 8 pull-ups. So, you know, 10 pull-ups is a lot. Now, I would max the other stuff. Like I could run the mile fast. I could do sit-ups. I'm trying to think I had a trunk lift for flexibility, stuff like that. But if you were obese, you weren't doing, not only were you not doing one pull-up, you weren't even doing the modified pull-ups, which they had like a scale where like if you don't know what a modified pull-up is, this is another thing. Oh, another thing you can do, train your back. So you get this, you kick it up in the door, or you're at the gym somewhere that has this, get a chair or something tall, kick your feet up on it if you can't do a pull-up yet, and that'll modify the angle so you're pulling it. Basically your body's like this, and you're pulling, you know, my elbow is your chest. You know, you're pulling your chest up to the bar like this. This is actually a better exercise for your middle back. It will exercise your back better than a pull-up as far as like muscle activation goes. But it's a much less weight, so it's easier to do. But anyway, the obese kids couldn't even do those. So they were just kind of shit out of luck. And if they were really obese, they weren't even doing sit-ups. They weren't running the mile in any kind of they were in the 0 percentile for the mile. They were walking it in 15, 20 minutes. It was really unfortunate because like they could dress out every day and they'd get a C in PE, trying their best because, you know, they had a genetic predisposition to be obese, plus they had a bad diet, plus they didn't know how to train, plus all those things, right? All those things line up to produce obesity. Don't believe the hype that like obese people are evil for being obese, because a lot of people, it's a lot of stuff that's not their fault. They didn't grow up in a house that taught them how to have a good diet, so it's not their fault that they have a bad diet, right? Diet is something you acquire through your environment. I grew up with a bad diet, and I had to relearn my diet. They didn't grow up being taught how to be athletic, and then they might have like greedy fat cells. Their body might just be more endomorphic. All those things line up. Boom, you're going to be obese. And I don't know. I can't think of any obese person that got to like age 20 and was like, "This is the result of my bad decisions." Now you can change it. If you're obese, you can absolutely change your body type. I lost almost 100 pounds at one point, so you can do it. But don't start from a place of like I'm a failure because I'm fat and I'm like morally inferior. No. You inherit a lot of things, you accept those, and then you figure out how to change what you can, and that's the path forward. What are your thoughts on Leonard Cohen's music? So I like his music, but I don't really like his performances very much, personally. So I'm just not a big fan of his voice and his performance style. It's not my favorite. It's not bad. And he's a very good songwriter. So when I hear Leonard Cohen covers, not just Hallelujah, there was a really famous one by Jeff Buckley of Hallelujah. It was pretty good. Really good. But I've heard other covers of his. I always like the cover more, kind of like Bob Dylan, right? I like Bob Dylan covers more than Bob Dylan doing it because I don't think Bob Dylan's a very good performer, but he's a very good songwriter. I was watching T-Rex Arms' podcast today. They develop firearms products. They said to do ammo shortages, airsoft and VR training will become good alternatives to live fire training. I don't have ammo shortages. Possibly. I mean, you know, it's not going to be the same though. And the truth is, no amount of training can really like prepare you for a high stress actual firefight. You know, we have really unreasonable expectations for people that are in high stress situations sometimes, where it's like, oh, this person, how did this person not shoot him in the leg? Why did he shoot the perpetrator? It's like, it's very difficult to shoot somebody anywhere under stress. It's very difficult to shoot accurately. It's very difficult to make some kind of conscious decision to shoot someone in the leg. No, you need to neutralize the threat. You're just going to shoot at the person, and that's what happens, you know. I've heard this like liberals had never shot anything in their life or never been in a fight probably. Go like, why didn't you just shoot him in the leg? It's like, it's like if you get in a fight with someone, it's like, why did you slam his head into the concrete until his head broke apart? It's like, I don't know, I was in a fight, you know. It's like, that's what happens, you know. People die in fistfights. Things like this happen because the stress is not typical. It's not a typical thing that you're used to dealing with. And so expecting people to act perfectly when they're in a life or death situation is just nonsense. It's not a reasonable expectation, especially from not just from civilians, but police. Just because police, their job is to, you know, they're initiating higher stress things, they're not getting into shootouts very often. Like, I've known several police officers and they've never been in shootouts. The next shootout they're in will be the first one they've ever been in. It's not typical. It's not a typical situation at all. Maybe hypnotism functions on the same level as Conan's relationship with sorcery. If he doesn't believe in it, the sorcerer's illusions fail, and he gets to lop their head off. Yeah, I think that's maybe part of it too. What's your favorite PS2 game? Probably Devil May Cry. The original Devil May Cry was great. Final Fantasy 12 is great, but I think I like it better as a PS4 game. I don't know. I like the Zodiac Job system a lot. Final Fantasy 10 wasn't bad at the time, but I don't think it holds up that well. I'm trying to think of some of the other big ones, like God of War. God of War was good. Yeah, probably Devil May Cry. I'm trying to think of some others that I thought were really good. There's a bunch of them. There's so many games for PS2. PS2 has like one of the biggest game catalogs ever. Bob Dylan called Elvis Presley's cover of his song Tomorrow Is a Long Time the one recording I treasure the most. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, Bob Dylan's a great songwriter, but he sounds very nasally and sounds like he mumbles quite often in his songs. Yeah, he's not like a trained singer, and he doesn't really try to. Like, he just does it his own way, and it's just about his way of expressing, and that's fine. I still don't think he like sounds bad. Some people are like, I can't stand him. You know, I don't think it's bad, but the covers are always like, oh, that's what a good performance of this sounds like, you know. So, anyway, guys, maybe let's play some games. So you got in a little bit of pull-up advice. That's a great way to train pull-ups. I think you could do the same thing, probably push-ups, like control the down. I don't know. Push-ups are really easy. I've never had problems doing push-ups, so I just do them. But you could do knee push-ups. Oh, by the way, this is another thing too. Like, whatever you're doing, like if you just try, you're going to be making so much progress just trying. You don't realize it. You know, you don't. I spent 2 years losing like 100 pounds, which is technically like a very healthy progress, like a pound a week on average, thereabouts. I could have done it in half the time if I knew everything I knew at the beginning, but I didn't. And so you make a lot of progress just trying things. It's like, oh, I'm going to stop eating fast food and I'm going to drink whey protein. It's like, this is terrible diet, but it's better than eating Carl's Jr. all the time. So I lost weight. And then I figured, oh, I need to eat this kind of stuff, and no, I'm really not got to count my calories. And each time you start doing something, you get better and better and better. Until at the end, it was like laser counting of calories, like perfect meal timing, perfect macros, eating, just eating perfectly, and then like training perfectly, and then boom, all of a sudden you're like, wow, I look great. And then it's hard to maintain that. That's a whole other set of things. What tended to happen with me is like my body fat went up basically as soon as I started dating my wife, and it's not because she's a great cook or something. She's not a bad cook, but because when you're spending time with the other person, you start doing meal negotiation, which is you start to make meals and eat meals that both of you are okay with and both of you tolerate. Now, right now, my wife and I are not eating the same food at all because I'm on a very strict diet, which she's okay with. And that's just how it is. But, as we're dating, we're like, let's go to breakfast. If I'm going out to eat at breakfast, I'm probably eating pancakes, which are not that good for me. And, we'll make tacos tonight because we both like tacos. Well, they're maybe not the best for me. A little higher calories than I probably ought to have. Versus when you're by yourself, it's really easy to maintain a great diet because you're just like, no one's telling me what to do. I know exactly what I need to eat. I'm going to eat this giant wrap with all this fiber and all this lettuce. I'm going to eat it up. And that's what I eat, And when I was actually in my best shape, I used to eat a donut every day. You guys are going to be like, that's terrible. It's like, no. I was so lean and so fit and like exercised so much every day. I had such room in my calorie budget. I ate a donut or a candy bar every single day. And it was like I had like a big thing of casein protein that I eat last thing, and then finally got my donut. I had like a big cinnamon roll or like a white frosting donut. Like, just enjoyed the hell out of it. It was so good. Problem is that like you keep enjoying the hell out of that donut, and then you're not exercising like 3 hours a day anymore. And so very slowly, you start putting the body fat back on. You're like, I'm just kind of like bulking, right? When your abs go away, and then later you're like, no, I need to lose some weight. And you go, let's do another 12-week diet, and I can only eat these things for a while. It's actually kind of hard to maintain good body fat because it's really easy to get really dedicated towards achieving something, but maintaining it starts to become a grind. I learned this as a music performer. I get really psyched to learn a new piece, and then once it's learned, you have to keep practicing it to maintain it. And it's just like, oh yeah, I totally messed up those 3 measures at my last performance. I really have to practice this piece. Or, it's like, oh, I got to practice this piece again. I'm so bored of it. That's how it gets. Also, if you shoot someone in the leg with the intent to wound and then kill them because you nicked their femoral artery, it's less defensible in court. I did not think of that. Yeah, the probable defense was I just shot, and that's happened to be where I hit him. I was shooting. I wasn't shooting to kill or not kill. I was shooting in self-defense, and that's the way it ended up. What are your thoughts on Johnny Cash and Janice Joplin? I don't like Janice Joplin really at all. I can't stand her voice. I like Johnny Cash though. I got kind of like I like him. I like his voice. I think he's got a great voice. And I like the stuff he did late in life, too. All those weird rock covers were actually kind of cool. Like he did like a cover of Rusty Cage by Soundgarden. And then I think the more famous one is like Hurt by Nine Inch Nails. Those were really cool. What a really cool idea to do that. Yeah, Jeff Buckley. I remember his Hallelujah cover off the OC. Yeah, TV's not your thing. I only knew about Jeff Buckley because a student of mine gave me a CD of his years ago. That's the only way I knew about him. I never heard about him. Never listened to his music. Didn't know anything about him. And then he recorded this great debut album, and then he drowned swimming in the Snake River. It was really sad. Not like, and I don't know if drugs were involved or not, but not like how most young musicians die, which is they get burned out and die. I think someone died. Someone from a band died. Which band? Someone, some rock musician in his 30s died today in his sleep from a metal band. A metal band I don't really listen to. That's why I'm not remembering who it is. Oh, well. Very sad. It's unfortunate. The only Conan book I've been able to collect, and I haven't read in a long time. So, I haven't done a video on this. So there's these great editions put out by, I think, Del Rey of all the Conan stories, basically done in the publication order of them with just amazing illustrations. These are the versions of Conan I recommend if you're buying Robert E. Howard. So these are no pastiches, no like completed drafts or anything like that. No, basic fan fiction of Conan written by Robert Jordan or someone like that. You can do all that stuff later. But those are the ones you want to start with. You want to start with the original Conan stories, including unpublished drafts, in the order that they were written in. That's the way you want to read Conan. Same thing with Cole. Just my opinion. And I think you should probably read Cole first because that informs Conan. The guys at T-Rex Arms have a really good YouTube channel on firearm training and drills and other firearms-related content. They generally shoot like 90,000 rounds a year to train. That's really good. I'm grilling up steaks in Mom's backyard now that the smoke's gone. Yeah, me and my kids played outside today. It was great. Had like a water fight. Man, it was just hell where we're at right now. You'd wake up in the morning and it would look like you were in some kind of Batman dream sequence or something. Like it was, everything was sepia toned. You'd like look outside and everything's like brown and orange. You'd see the sun in the sky and it would just be like a red dot. It was really gross. And you could smell it. It smelled like a big barbecue going on outside. Are you familiar with Elliot Hulse? Yes. If so, what are your thoughts on him? I think he's probably insane. I like him. I think he's a very entertaining guy, but I think he's actually slightly insane. I think he might have a screw loose somewhere because he's just all over the map. Every time I see another video from him, I'm just like, now he thinks this. Weird. He was like, I'm going to do bodybuilding. And he's like, no, I'm back at strongman. But he also just will say like weird things about like energy, this and that. And I'm like, okay, he's not, I think he's probably a pretty entertaining guy to watch. I just think he might be a little bit crazy. Probably knows what he's talking about for fitness stuff. Erudite and symbolic advice on how to get into Conan and appreciate it. Yes, that's the way. And the illustrations of those editions are great. They are really good. Actually, I'll go find one real quick because I have one on the bookshelf. I just gotta step out to get it. Ow! I misspoke. They're not Del Rey. They're Ballantine. Ballantine books. So here they are. Yeah, I was like living in the ashlands of Vardenfell. I had ash all over my tree leaves. They were like, all my trees turned white. I'm like, what happened? And I like pulled it off. It was ash. There was ash. Okay. So, Kyle, you need to go out and hose off your AC condenser. Because mine was full of ash and it like reduced its ability to function. When they get dirty, they're all weather because they're outside, but like when they get dirty, they don't work as good apparently. So I had an AC guy's like, you got to hose that stuff off, especially during summer around here, or it's going to get bad. So these are put out by Ballantine Books. I already reviewed this on the channel, Cole, Exile of Atlantis. This is all the Cole stories that Robert E. Howard himself wrote. Okay, and you can see that I've already read this book. I've loved this book. I've dog-eared it. It's just a great book. And it's full of just these great illustrations. The entire one of this one is done by who illustrated it? Oh, Justin Sweet. Yeah, it's awesome. But they have more than these. So this is the one you should start with. Conan the Coming of Conan the Cimmerian. This is the one you should start with. The original ventures of the greatest sword and sorcery hero of all time. Illustrated by several different artists, but it's got great pen and ink illustrations, just snappy stuff. Originally there was a hardback that's going to be harder to find, but the paperback, which is actually printed, I think, on Amazon's printers, this is a print-on-demand book. Actually, I'm 90% sure it's the same cut. It's everything's the same as mine. It just is a Conan book instead of one of mine. Same quality paper and everything. So it's illustrated throughout, and it's got stuff in publication order. So you do this one, then there's one that comes after this that has the second half of the stories that Robert E. Howard did. And they also have this one for Solomon Kane. They did the same one, The Savage Tales of Solomon Kane. So these are the editions that I fully recommend. They're illustrated, they're great. They're put in publication order. They even contain, if they're an unpublished manuscript, they contain Robert E. Howard's typos. So you have the original way he wrote it, not just kind of, but like if there's a weird spelling that he used, it's still there. You know, they included grammatical mistakes and things if it wasn't published, or they had the original published version including maybe mistakes that made it through. And I don't mind any of that. That's all part of the history. It's really great. So Savage Tales of Solomon Kane. These are 3 that you can get if you want to get caught up on Robert E. Howard really quick. And the 3 biggest heroes that he did, Cole, Conan, and Solomon Kane. So these 3 are awesome. I fully recommend these. And I would like to, I'll probably do this in the future. I don't want to reveal too many of my plans before they come to fruition, but I'll probably try to do fully illustrated versions of the first 3 Eternal Dream books. The third one, it doesn't exist yet, right? I haven't finished writing it. But once I finish that, I might do a little crowdfund for like illustrated hardbacks and pay someone like Jesse White or a couple other artists I know if the workload's high enough to do fully illustrated versions of those and put them out. Because I now know the quality of what I can get with those. And I've done this myself. So if you have any of the Needle Ash books, they have illustrations in them. And those illustrations came out really good. And those are from print-on-demand applications. So they're generally pretty good. Yeah, I haven't got over Jesse's quarantine. Is peanut butter a good source of protein when trying to gain muscle? No. 2 reasons. First reason, it's full of fat. Second reason, it's not a complete protein. Better is chicken breast. Chicken breast is the best. Second best is like eggs or egg whites. So my main protein sources, I'll just tell you what my diet is. It's like 90% chicken breast and egg whites from Costco. Like bagged chicken breast, fully cooked. Just throw it on a tortilla with some lettuce and like, I usually put avocado on it because my diet right now is like really short on fats. So I got to add some fats in. Not enough fats. So I'm trying to, I have to like force myself to eat the fats because I've cut out so much stuff. Anyway, so do that. And then egg whites. You could even just drink the egg whites. I get carton egg whites from Costco. You could drink them. You can just straight up drink them if you want. If you're like, man, I need to get more protein in my diet, just drink a carton of egg whites. Drink it up. Now you make it, don't do too much of that. Don't drink more than like a little carton at a time, or you are going to have some farts that are going to clear the room. Let me tell you what. Because egg whites, I mean, your body has egg whites, they're going to produce a lot of gas. The bacteria like to eat it up and turn it into sulfur dioxide. There's sulfur in eggs, so that's why the egg farts smell bad. So that's a great place. What you can get instead of peanut butter is this stuff that I use called PB Fit. Or PB2. You can get it all. I have to get it off Amazon right now. Costco used to sell it, but I don't have it right now. So powdered peanut butter. I actually recommended this, I think, on my stuff to buy for the coronavirus thing was this powdered peanut butter. I've gone through all my powdered peanut butter and I have to buy more. So a quarter cup of that powdered peanut butter is like 16 grams of protein and 140 calories. It's good. So it's peanut butter with all the fat removed. So they just take all the peanut oil out, and what you're just left with is the peanut protein and fiber. And it tastes pretty much just as good as real peanut butter. Not quite as good because you don't have that peanut oil. The peanut oil tastes good. But it's pretty good. So what I do is I put that in my waffle mix. So I do 2 scoops of waffle mix, a scoop of peanut butter, powdered peanut butter, quarter cup or scoop, all the scoops are quarter cup. So half a cup of mix, a quarter cup of peanut butter, of the powdered peanut butter, quarter cup of egg whites, half a cup of milk, and mix that up and make 4 pancakes out of it. It's 390 calories, and I think is like 50 grams of protein. You're not going to find, and then like a crap ton of fiber, like 20 grams of fiber or something. You're not going to find like better profile of something to eat that tastes as good. You eat it and you're like, man, I feel like I'm eating a peanut butter cookie. I also put like Splenda and stuff in it too. I feel like the aspartame or whatever. Open up some of those saccharin packets and throw that in there too if you want it a little sweeter. But the peanut butter makes it taste so good. You just eat it. It's like eating a peanut butter cookie. You feel completely like full when you're done with it. You're just like, man, I just ate a feast, and it's less than 400 calories. Bam. That's some good protein there. So I'm not like a fitness expert. You can ask people who are better at that, but peanut butter is not good because it's too much fat. You have to eat like a whole jar of peanut butter to like get a lot of protein. It's not a complete protein, and it's too much. It's too many calories. Beef is a bad source too because it's just too many calories. Unless it's beef jerky. Beef jerky is a good source, but it's expensive as hell. Steak is a decent source, but it's pretty fatty. Hamburger is a bad source because it's just too high in calories. But that doesn't mean you can't eat it, even if you're on a strict diet. I ate a hamburger last night. The hamburger with the bun was 620 calories. And that was just hamburger and bun and lettuce. Right? That's a lot. So people, if you're eating a lot of hamburgers, and I'm of the opinion, like, I'm not into buying really lean ground beef to like try to, because I don't care that much. So like if it's a really lean ground beef, I'm like, what's the point? Hamburgers should taste good. So I buy like the fatty hamburger and just don't eat as much, That's me. So yeah. So look it up, PB2 or PB Fit, same thing. Does your Batman dream sequence comment mean that you've seen Batman versus Superman? I've seen that part of it, at least. Now I might watch Batman versus Superman to then watch Justice League, like to compare the two cuts, because they're coming out with the Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut's coming. I don't know if it's actually out yet, but I'll be curious to see what the Snyder Cut's actually like, because Joss Whedon basically did reshoot the movie. I have both those Conan volumes. I love them. The art in the Solomon Kane one is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it's great. Just all of them are just awesome. I just I feel like the art adds so much. It's just like it has such a great feeling to it, that ink art. Who did let me see who did the illustrations in the Solomon Kane one, because they're great. You know what? Del Rey actually did publish this, though it says Ballantine by Del Rey. I thought I wasn't correct. There should be a list of... I don't know. There's a lot of good ones. I think Justin Sweet does some stuff. They're just great. They're great illustrations in here, so do check it out. And for like $15, it's a book you're gonna keep like forever. Why not have it? Why not play with it? Snyder Cut comes out next year. I might do that next year. I might make a whole thing about that, because we've never really gotten this before, where it's like the same movie shot by two different directors. Like, this is it's going to be a very interesting, I guess, I don't know what the word is, exercise. Like, it'd be really interesting for film students to look at this. Like, how did these two people do these two different cuts? I'd be very interested to see that, because there's so much to it. Sargon was doing keto and he lost a lot of weight. My mom was doing a mix of that and fasting. She's not only lost a lot of weight, but got her blood sugar completely under control. I'm not into keto personally, because it's a lifestyle that I can't really do. I have no desire to do it, I guess. Doesn't mean you can't do it. I think a lot of people overrate keto a little bit, because you lose a lot of weight early on because you're getting rid of sugar. So your glycogen stores get flushed out. And for every gram of sugar that you're holding in your body, there's like a gram of water that gets held. So as you deplete your sugar sources, you flush the water out, you lose weight. You haven't started really burning the fat yet. But for people who have diabetes, or if you're pre-diabetic, or you have blood sugar issues, then avoiding sugar is pretty much a plus. There's other benefits to the diet as far as I see. But I have no desire personally to maintain. It's just too hard a lifestyle to maintain. I want to be able to if I'm driving down to my mom's house and I'm hungry, I want to be able to eat French fries if I want to, or something else. That's just how I am. And the other part is like it's, you know, yeah, it's mainly just like it's a lifestyle that I don't really want to ever try to maintain. Plus, I like to have carbs for athletic performance. I don't know any serious athletes that do keto except maybe for like like to diet down for like a photo shoot, like some bodybuilders that do it. But like performance athletes, I don't know any that do it. And having done various kinds of low carb diets, I've tried everything out tried everything. Low carb, it's just like just low energy, like lower energy than, you know, comparable amount. Doesn't matter how long I stay on it. It's just like I'm always less energetic. That's just how it is. If it works for you, that's fine. Yeah, case study, the Snyder-Whedon Sarkeesian cut. Yeah, I don't know if Sarkeesian had any actual input, but Joss Whedon's totally an SJW. Yeah. Risk of rains too for these streams. It's a good pickup drop. Oh yeah, good idea. If I like Crystal Chronicles, I might start streaming that a lot. Let's see here. All right, here we go. Let me turn this one off. I'll keep answering questions as we go. I can see it. Aquaman 2008. It's very pulpy. I heard the new one's going to be totally addressing modern issues, stuff like that, which is usually means it's going to suck. Man, it's getting warm in here. Didn't realize my AC wasn't on. Here we go. I think fasting. Okay, so here's the thing about fad diets. I'll come out with a video on fad diets. Actually, I already recorded it, but I kind of want to re-record it. But so here's the thing. I did fasting almost 10 years ago. It's a great way to finish off a diet because it just shrinks your eating window. Everything is about the total amount of calories you consume. Any diet that reduces the total amount of calories you consume and you're able to maintain that, you will lose weight on it and it will work. It doesn't matter if it's like cutting out sugar or something else like that. Anything will work as long as you are cutting the calories. So if you're fasting and you're skipping breakfast and that puts you in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose weight. If that works for you, stick with it. For me, it worked as a great way to close a diet because you look at all the meals, I couldn't cut any more calories from the meals themselves, you know? So it's like I was already eating chicken and vegetables. Like there wasn't anything else to cut except a meal. So you cut a meal out and boom, then you're in a calorie deficit again and you can persist that. So it's a great way to close out a diet. I'm not doing it for this current diet at all because everything's in flux. You know, I eat my first meal at all kinds. Sometimes it's at 2 p.m, sometimes it's at 10 in the morning. I never eat early breakfast because I'm not hungry in the morning. But intermittent fasting worked really well for me to get like the last 20 pounds off. So I went from like 215 to like 195 pretty quickly and easily doing intermittent fasting because you can only eat so many calories in a 6-hour window. You know, you go home and like you pig out on healthy food, as provided you're eating healthy food. You can, if you're intermittent fasting and then you go home and eat a pizza, it's not going to help you. But like if you're intermittent fasting, you go home and you eat normal healthy food, yeah, dude, you're going to lose weight. As long as you're in a calorie deficit, you're going to be able to do it. And it's going to work. Let's talk to this guy. Yeah, the modern issues is Donald Trump's a bad guy.
All right then. You're not one for talking. I can respect that. Well, if you need anything, just let me know.
Yeah, I mean, like, if keto works for you, then stick with it. Anything that's gonna work, you can just do that.
Next time, go someplace else.
You know, so fad diets are fads because they work, and they're also fads because they don't work for everyone. So people jump on different kinds of diets. The Atkins diet was a big one. Everyone jumped on this Atkins diet, and they're like, "I lost 15 pounds." Like, yeah, you lost like 15 pounds of water. And then they hop off the diet because they thought they accomplished something, or they hop off the diet because it's like they just can't live without bread. You know, it's too hard to live without bread. Save the fish from global warming. Have you seen the new Batman movie trailer? I haven't, but I think Robert Pattinson's actually a good actor. I think he's very underrated. I think people hate him just because he was in Twilight, and I think a lot of men have a resentment towards Twilight in general for reasons that have more to do with having to come to grips with the kinds of men women are actually attracted to, or girls are actually attracted to, rather than anything specifically bad about the story. I've talked about Twilight in the channel before, and I'll talk more about it in the future, just from a literary perspective and a craft perspective to see what's going on with it. Let's wait here for about 6 hours. Let's see if he eats the poison apple. I had severe IBS, and keto plus extended fasting elimination diet cured me after years of suffering. Couldn't eat anything without terrible bloating pain. Powerful tools, but not necessary for everyone. No, George St. Pierre, the MMA fighter, he went to an intermittent fasting diet to control some kind of a digestive problem he had, like ulcerative colitis. Because it's just like, I got to give my body a break from digesting food. So it worked for him too. Jeremy Soule is great music, and apparently he's not going to be working on the next one because he got Me Too'd like everyone else in the gaming industry. Regarding Fad Diets, Bro Science did the best example of satire I've ever seen, where he absolutely destroyed the "if it fits your macros" dumbass diet. If it fits your macros is not, I wouldn't really even call it a diet. You know? And depending on how specific you want to get on your diet, you really don't need to be as specific as you need to if you're just trying to lose. If you're just trying to lose weight, just have a high protein, generally diet of good food, healthy food, and then track your calories, and you'll lose weight. You'll come. If you're trying to gain muscle, maybe that's a little different. If you're trying to gain muscle, lose fat at the same time, you probably have to be stricter if you actually want to do that. Know what I mean?
Looking for a room. All right then. You're not one for talking.
I'm currently doing an experiment on cauliflower flour for keat pizza. Wish me luck. I heard it makes you fart a lot.
Have a look around. You won't find better prices in all.
The main thing I heard is that the gas can get pretty significant.
Go someplace else. The Inn of Ill Omen, the Tiber Septim Hotel, anywhere but here. Okay.
I don't think he's going to eat this poison apple, guys. But I could possibly kill the guard here with the poison apple, though. Let's try that. See if I can put this poison apple in his pocket. Since he's drinking something, he might eat it right now, and then I can just kill this guy and take one back. Let's find out here. Oh, it's gonna be in this one. Here we go. If it's a 0-weight item, they're not really going to detect you pickpocketing it into their pockets. Just as a by the way. The lighter the item, the easier it is to pickpocket it. Did you hear that a villain in Wonder Woman 1984 is visually modeled on young Donald Trump? I've heard this, yes. The director claims they're not going political, but I'm not sure if I believe her. If it's a her, she's going political. The weather in Cyrodiil reminds me of my friend's house on Monday night. Rain came through town, but only one small section. I went outside and just basked in the rain. It didn't last. Yeah, these summer storms are rare. I saw those thunderstorms, and it was like there was some crazy thunderstorms here. Dry thunderstorms where clouds basically seeded by the soot from the fires got really huge, and we're having big lightning storms overhead. Super bright lightning. It was crazy. I lost 45 pounds just from going on Adderall and not being hungry. So here's the thing about ketosis. So bodybuilders have known about ketosis for decades. The truth is bro science is actually more scientific than a lot of science because it's just trial and error. And you just kind of find the right path by numerous people doing a bunch of tinkering. So, Arnold Schwarzenegger talks about it in the new Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding. She's like, get keto sticks and see if you're in ketosis when you're on a diet. Now, why do you want to know if you're in ketosis? Because if you're in ketosis, you're not eating enough carbs, or basically you're burning all of your carbs. So they would get in such severe diets that they needed to know exactly if they were actually burning all of their carbs up or not, because that told them if their diet was too low or not. The point was to avoid ketosis, because if you're in ketosis, you're burning up the protein. You need that protein to keep the muscle on, to build the muscle as you're preparing for a competition. So if you stay out of ketosis, then you know all of your protein is free up for building muscle. And then as you get really close to a competition, it's okay to get into ketosis because you're just dieting so hard to get rid of the fat. And that way you know that you don't have any extra carbs either. So as you get closer to the competition, you want to be in ketosis more. You can go into ketosis halfway through the day because you run out of sugar. So that's what they were tracking. They were peeing on sticks like 6 times a day to see where they were on ketosis. You didn't want to be on ketosis if you're trying to build muscle. It didn't really matter as much if you were just trying to, if you're trying to diet down for a competition, it just didn't matter quite as much. I think I'm going to have to kill this guy, and do something with this guy here. Oh, problem with it, if it fits your macros, is micronutrients are important too in the long term. That's true. Caloric deficit will make you lose weight, though, regardless of how crappy the food is. That's true. That's why every fad diet actually works. It works because it will make you lose weight. If I could just push him over in the corner so he won't see what I'm about to do. I don't know. Some NPCs have a little reset function. If I push him so I'm pushing him down here. This is really silly, but there he goes.
Stop right there.
Get that poison apple back. It's worth money. Should I kill this guy? I might be a little too low to kill him. Guards are a little higher level in this game. So, fun little fact about Shadowmere is you can actually beat up Shadowmere and use him as a bank. You can beat him up and he'll fall down on the ground and you can pickpocket stuff into him. I think. I haven't done it in a long time. I don't want to try it right now, but because it's your horse, you can just beat him up and he doesn't ever lose loyalty. And when he gets knocked out, you can put stuff in him. Yeah, they put modern, quote, modern issues in their movies when people just want escapism. That's true. Let's see, where else do we have to go? Let's see. Oh, way out there, man. Okay. Already got him in the Imperial City. All right, let's go. Bam. You killed them both and got the poison apples back. That's right.
What is it now?
Oh, I'm going to get owned by the sun. So let's do this. Oh, here he comes. Here comes the 2,000 gold because I killed a guard. I only would have had to pay 40 gold for killing that stupid guy. I should have just paid the gold, because now I'll have to pay 1,000 to get rid of it. You know.
Look who we've got here.
Here's a bandit. I can at least get like close to this marker here. There's a shrine over here. Okay. That's useful. It's good to know. I can't cast on my horse, unfortunately, so I'll have to like get off here at some point and heal up. You can also ride a unicorn in this game. So the unicorn that you have to kill for one of the Daedric quests, you can just hop on him and ride away, and he becomes your horse. The only problem is he'll attack you anytime you have a weapon drawn. So it's only good if you want to go Punch Wizard. So if you're going Punch Wizard, you can have the unicorn mount. And all is good. Where is this cave? See if I can get there before I get completely owned here by the sun and start having to chug potions. Did I pass it? Oh, I think it's above me. Not good. And we're gonna have to drink some potions. Found the cavern. It says I found it, but I can't seem to find the entrance anywhere. I'm gonna have to chug more potions. Yeah, let's do must be under this rock somewhere. I must have been in the right place before. I died. I died. Totally agree with the pull-up talk. Couldn't do a pull-up until I was 30 despite lifting weights because I didn't know how to use the lats. Yep. I mean, these are things that you have to kind of learn. You know, you have to kind of learn them the hard way. Dead bodies. Now, I did like in Skyrim how if you killed all the witnesses, you lost your bounty. Like the bounty disappeared. A scene in Wonder Woman 2017 had Wonder Woman leap into a church tower to take out a sniper, smashing the tower and standing in its place. An adoring crowd looked up at her. Yeah, pull-ups are a hard one. A lot of stuff is just not, it's just not taught in schools. It just isn't taught. So like your average gym bro who like learned everything from books and YouTube knows more than a lot of the boomer PE teachers that are still out there. You just like never learned nutrition, never learned any of this stuff. You know, the people who tend to know the most about nutrition are the people who've done it, you know. People who spent their time like dieting for shows. You also know like the other stuff too. You know, hormones, steroids and stuff. But you shouldn't need to go through that stuff to like have an okay physique. I remember when this game came out, we thought it looked like so incredible on like a good PC. We'd pump it up and like have all these bushes and stuff. And now I'm running mods that add a bunch of extra trees, so it just looks way better now. Even then when it came out. Patty Jenkins, the director of the Wonder Woman movies, hasn't been overly political like a lot of directors so far, but she does sneak things in with symbolism at times. Yeah, that's the church thing. It's just really rare that I see female directors not saying that their stuff's somehow political. It seems like every woman in media has to make it about like her and being a woman, you know? Like I see so many freaking things about like women in publishing, and it's like women have dominated the publishing industry for 200 years. Do we really need another summit about women in publishing? It's like, it's so hard to be a woman in publishing. It's like, no, it's not. It's not hard. Hence why like 80% of publishers are women. You know, most published authors are women, and that was the case like 100 years ago too. Fiction's always been very female dominated. But there's always some narrative about how women aren't allowed to do anything. So anytime a woman does something, it's because, you know, suddenly she was allowed to do this thing that men hadn't allowed her to do. It's like not everything is like like being a doctor, you know. At one point, you couldn't really be a female doctor because it just didn't really allow it. But publishing wasn't that way. I'm still trying to find this cave. Like, is it on the other side here? Is it down in the river? Where is this thing? Like going through this canyon. I think it might be on the other side of this canyon here. What are your two favorite Fallout New Vegas missions? I couldn't tell you. I really liked one of the early ones where you were going through the equivalent of, I think it was called like Buffalo Bills or something. Basically, it's Primm, Nevada, which is a town I used to drive through like every single week. And it's the first town on the I-15 on the way to Las Vegas. It's like the first sign of civilization after Barstow. There's like Barstow, a rest stop with a gas station, and then you're at Primm. And it's like 4 hours between those. But I like that just because it, you know, reminded me of Las Vegas, which is where I used to live. Who was your favorite sidekick? I don't know. It's probably been I don't know how long it's been since I played New Vegas. 7 or 8 years, something like that. Long time. It's a fun game. I'm not a huge fan of like the Fallout games after. Watch, I'm gonna walk up here and it's like, there's the door. After the first, say, 2. The first 2 were very unique, cool experiences. After those first 2, it's a different game. Fallout 3 was really an attempt to do Oblivion with guns, and it mostly worked. Fallout New Vegas mostly worked for the same reasons, I think. That it was, you know, Oblivion with guns. I can't find this cave entrance. You know what? I can look a little closer, can't I? It says it's up there, Monk Valley Cavern. Is it on top of that rock? I have to... On top of that rock? It's on top of that rock. I'm gonna have to like rock climb up to get it. Now all of a sudden it's like, I wish this was Breath of the Wild and I could just climb that rock. having to jump all the way around the world. I will level up my acrobatic skill here. And a wall jump. I was very disappointed that Vanilla WoW, Blizzard's new Vanilla WoW, didn't have wall jumping because they used the newer engine. So it didn't have wall jumping, which was just super disappointing. There. Is it here? Okay. It's on that rock. Uh-huh. There it is. Good Lord, I can't believe I couldn't find this place. I really need to... There's a lot of animals in here, so let's do this. Soul Trap. There we go. And we will also... this. What can I replace? Oh, I forgot. I never summoned my Light Dremora. Let's replace that bound weapon. There we go. That way I can... There we go. Come up on this wolf and cast Soul Trap. There we go. We get a couple souls here. It's helpful. That is very helpful. I seem to remember a robot sidekick from New Vegas that had like a big TV head. Like a robot sheriff. Was he the sidekick? I'm trying to remember. Just another soul real quick here. That wolf had gold on him. There'd be gold in them there wolves. And there she is up there. I don't have any black soul gems. I think you can get some black soul gems early in the game somehow. Oh no, it's another skeever. Yeah, if you already know the secret, like to stand at certain times, you can make some black soul gems for sure. Played a lot of Vanilla WoW private servers before Classic came out, and they were much better run and moderated than official Classic. Sad to say. You know what? I agree. Also, they ran on the original. They ran on the original engine, which is it. The new one just doesn't look right. It never quite looked right to begin with, and I just don't like Blizzard as a company anymore either. Let's be honest. I just don't like them, and. You know, I just don't like Blizzard as a company anymore. I think that they are not very good. I don't want to be associated with them. This bear is a little hard to kill. Just batching him to death. Also, what am I doing? There we go. we go. That bear pelt. What if I can wait? Oh, sweet. Have you done the remastered mods? I don't know. I'm running some mods. I don't know if there's like a good, if like some modders have put together a list of some really great like graphic overhaul mods for this. If so, I'm totally down to check them out and just try them out for these streams. I think I was going to do Morrowind next, like a remastered Morrowind. Oh, here she comes. Yeah, I'm just going to pop this guy out. Thank you, my friend. She was easy to kill. Easier than the bear. Look at this squalor she lives in. Did mommy a favor by killing her daughter. Pathetic. Really. There's not even anything here to loot. So poor. I'm just gonna take your food. Anything else? Sleep in your filthy bed to level up. Hear my baby talking in the next room. Hi. Have you ever heard of Jonathan? Yes. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Paju? He's a YouTuber who analyzes symbolism. He did a video that covered the symbolism in Wonder Woman and Mad Max Fury Road. I follow him on Twitter. But I haven't watched a lot of his YouTube videos. I think he and I would probably agree on a lot of things, though. Kingdoms of Amalur is finally getting a remaster with extra new content. I don't feel like it had too much content. I think it had too much content. Problem with Kingdoms of Amalur, which I never finished, was really that I hit max level so quickly. Of course, I played on like whatever the hardest mode was, like the nightmare mode. I hit max level so quickly, I just got bored. Like the gameplay was super repetitive. There was too much content. I got total player fatigue playing it. I still have it. I mean, I'd be curious to look at it, of course. I enjoyed playing the game quite a bit. R.A. Salvatore was like the main writer guy on it, and he's great. He did a lot of the Drizzt Do'Urden books, and he's a good writer and very good at coming up with world building ideas and explaining those. But I felt like it had too much content, if you'll believe that. When you do Morrowind, I'll be nice and get a list of all the mods you use. Yeah. If I do Morrowind, right now I have a Morrowind overhaul mod, so I could probably just find the list. But there's people who do like the graphic overhaul mods that just have just a blanket list of like you do this, this, and this. Modding Morrowind is actually kind of complicated because you have to try to extend. You have to do a graphics extender. And a bunch of other stuff because the engine is too limited. Kind of Oblivion, you kind of have to do that too, but people have figured it out. It's really beyond my capabilities to say like which way to go. Did I kill everyone? I haven't killed the one in Leowin, but I think I need to go here and clear my bounty real quick. The one in Leowin I remember being really annoying to try to kill because she always eats grapes. She has an infinite supply of grapes that spawn in her pocket, so you can't poison her. Well, this is great. I'm gonna have to. It have a meal real quick. Quick meal. Is there anyone in here? He's not even going to notice me drinking the blood. Oh, I'm over encumbered. I got to drop something on the ground.
Hello.
Hello. Come on, Armand. You know me just because I'm a vampire.
Shadows well, fellow thief.
Internet is giving me different answers. Amalar is already out. Yeah. It's already out. I hadn't paid that close attention. I saw it a while back.
You can pay your fine.
Good Lord, 1,000 gold.
Consider it done.
Well, that was a waste of money. Let's see here. Where am I going now? Leowin. To kill this woman in Leowin. Let's get it done. So yeah, there's people who come. You download it. It's a big packet with all the mods for Morrowind, and like a list of everything you got to do it, and then you just do it. And it's already curated for you, so you don't have to do any kind of thinking. Some people like to think about, I want this mod or that mod. It's kind of cool to just be like, here's the overhaul mod. You can get Open Morrowind to run on your phone if you have a copy of it already, like a PC copy. You just copy the folder into your phone, and it'll run. It runs great. So I would play the original version of Morrowind on my phone if you've never played it and you want something with mobile. That's a really super easy way to do it. And then I would play the super modded version on like a souped up PC. That'd be a good way to do it. Is there anyone in here? I think I can go to sleep in here. Is this stealing? Letter. My dearest lover, yesterday was wonderful. We should plan to seek the gardens every week. Your gift was very touching. I will wear it when we next meet. Until then, you have my eternal love. Yeah, the internet's wrong on a lot of things. Oh, so here's the thing about Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. On the PlayStation Store page, there's an icon there that says it's cross-platform, like cross-buy with PS Vita. Which I'm like, there's no way. There's no way they're going to come out with the PS Vita version of this, because I couldn't find it on the PS Vita store, but I don't know. They could like stealth drop a Vita version, which would be really cool. That would make it easier to play, too. What am I doing here? Come on. You're better than this. You're a better thief than this. There we go. Is she in here? There she is. Let's get a good sword out here. Sort of shocking. And I think I have a paralysis potion. Did I sell it? I probably sold it. I'm dumb. Oh, she's a guard. Well, see, she has these infinitely spawning grapes. These are annoying. Now we'll see if I don't think guards can come in here because it's a little different area. But let's see if there's anything to loot we can sell. This stuff's not worth anything. Oh, I don't want to pick this. Need to get the skeleton key just so I can skip the lockpicking minigame. Yeah, there's nothing in the chest. Come on. Got all these chests around with nothing in them. Alright, whatever. Probably have a huge bounty again. I'm trying to think what the max bounty is. Probably should have waited to like pay it off, but yeah, 1,000. My infamy's getting up there. Stolen 1,309 out. This is great. Alright. Let me see how we're gonna get out of here. Let's see, who do I still have to kill? Alright, I got all of it. Now we get to go back and kill the woman. Yeah, we're gonna have to like flee this, I think. Or do jail time. I mean, that's another option. Like, I spent 1,000 gold to get rid of the bounty, but I don't want to like lose all my gold.
Well, a little food and drink will do. Farewell.
Alright. Time to hightail it to the gate. Right over there. Where's the gate? I feel like my draw distance is actually turned down. Hold on. Turn that up. That up, yeah. All this is up. Alright, we're gonna have to make a mad dash.
It's all over. Then pay.
Run away! Run away! It's like, how do they know? How do they know that she died? Thoughts on the Witcher games or books? I've played the first 2 Witcher games, and they're both good. I like probably the first one better as far as story goes. And I think, I haven't played the third Witcher game yet. I like the books. They're basically fairy tales, like Disney fairy tales, but like horror or like really grimdark, and that's pretty fun. So I do like those. I like the audiobooks. I've listened to the audiobooks, and they're pretty cool. So if you dig, you cannot go that way. Turn back. Do I have to kill you too? Who is this guy? Why is he attacking me?
Stop right there, criminals.
Oh, okay.
Then pay.
All right, we'll just outrun him a little bit. Oh my gosh. Do I really have to kill all these guards or go to jail? Is that where I'm at? You cannot go that way. Turn back. Well, clearly. A boar. Now I'm getting attacked by boars. I don't don't remember what my major skills are. Blade, block, conjuration, destruction. Oh yeah, you know what? I can totally like summon my Dremora, and he would do all the attacking for me. Greyland. I'll hear the battle music, so it might be safe for me to travel back. Ah, nope. There are enemies nearby. Who are they? There we go. Wanted to get on the action. Okay, September 8th is when Kingdoms of Amalur, the re edition, comes out. Kill her dog first. No one's gonna feed it after I kill her.
Oh, back again. I don't know what else you could need. I gave you the list. That should tell you where you can find my children and what they want. Now please, make sure my gifts get to the children. I'm counting on you.
That's all. She won't say anything else, huh? I killed your dog, ma'am. Ma'am, I killed your dog.
Oh, back again. No.
Fine. We will do this the hard way, ma'am. A pox upon thee! Every member of the Draconis family has been killed. I must pick up my reward in next contract at the dead drop located at the Stone Well in the Castle Skingrad courtyard. She's a hoe! Man, she's carrying some serious tools in her pockets. Let me tell you what. I'll steal some food. These poor people never have anything worth stealing. Alright. Before I go to Skingrad, I should probably pay off my bounty. The hard thing is definitely getting all this done without ever getting caught. So many modern fantasy books are packed with girl power stuff. It really breaks the immersion. Started reading Malazan, and I like the world building, but there's just enough feminist stuff to annoy me. Yeah, the whole thing of like female soldiers, and the thing is that like, it's like the female soldiers are no physical competency difference from the male soldiers in like frontline battle, which, you know, I believe mages, right? Because I have like mages in my book. I have females doing stuff. But at the same time, there's points where Steven Erikson just, I don't know, he makes it he kind of does it in a dumb way. And one of the things he does is he has, is it Stormy? He has this girl get like raped in this siege, and then 10 seconds later she's like ripping dudes apart with swords. It's like, are you weak enough to get raped? Or are you strong enough to kill all these professional soldiers? Like, make up your mind. It's like, no, we really wanted to like play up the,
You wear the shadow.
like make her a victim, you know.
You can consider it
Yeah, it's expensive.
shadow knight.
They're coming out with a graphic novel that faithfully adapts the book version of Dracula, but with Dracula drawn to look like Bela Lugosi. Interesting. I think Bela Lugosi was a pretty good looking Dracula. I mean, he's so classic for the look. Alright, I gotta go to Skingrad now. Well, that cost me some money. Where am I, Let's go sell. I'm gonna go sell stuff, you know. I'm almost out of time for the stream. I'm only asking for a single coin. There's Darchie's house. It's down over here somewhere. Maybe she's not in there. No, she's definitely in there. Are dialectics more important when debating a civnat over nationalism, or is rhetoric still the most important tool to utilize even when dealing with those types of people on average? Well, if they are engaging in dialectic, you can respond in dialectic. And if they are engaging in pseudo-dialectic, you point out the pseudo-dialectic and you respond with dialectic. This is all from Vox Day, I think. And if they respond with, if they are speaking rhetoric, then you just do rhetoric. You don't go to the dialectic realm. You know, there's no reason to.
Deal. I can sell it.
Now they need to fence like a little bit more gold.
A good price.
Fence these strawberries.
That's a good deal.
There we go. Some stolen books. Books are really good to steal. I should actually read that one first because I think it gives you a little skill up.
Deal. I can sell it for twice that price. That's a good deal.
Oh, the Sands of Resolve. I can sell those. That's cool. They weigh nothing.
Deal.
We'll sell them.
Sell it. Deal. I
All
can
right.
sell it for
That's
twice that
enough.
price to the right customer.
All right. I think that's good. Okay.
Noted. Shadow hide you.
And one thing you can do, by the way, is like right here, you could just steal all this stuff and then like sell it back to him. And it's really kind of saves some time. Like just steal all this. You know, anything that looks like it's worth gold, just like steal it. Just like some bread. Steal the bread and the cheese. Metal plate. That's not worth anything. Apple. Corn. Over encumbered. I hate to do this, but feather. Come on. There we go. Do you think it's accurate to say that Lovecraft stories are nihilistic, but have something that makes them appeal to people who normally dislike nihilism? Maybe. I'd say more it's like it's really the contrast between I mean, they're not really nihilistic, I'd actually say. It's more, the deeper theme is the horror of no religion, I guess. It's kind of like a Nietzschean nihilism, which isn't really nihilism to me. It's more like recognizing the horror on the other side. Let's see what else he's got. Before the feather runs out. Let's take that. And then we can talk to him.
Are you looking for a fence?
Yeah, I mean, Malazan stuff's not presented in the way that modern feminism is. You have a point, Rumble Hotep. But
Show
modern
me your
feminism's like a few steps past that, where it's like, it's not about showing women being equal with men, it's really about women showing women better than men,
You
really.
made a good bit
Making
of
things that are about women's current plight, supposedly.
Udra. Deal. An excellent bargain. Deal.
Just selling him his clothes. He's like, hey, these clothes look pretty familiar.
Price to the right cut.
Let's haggle on the skooma, okay? Let's,
I'll just walk away. I'm listening.
well, let me,
Shadow Eye. Are you looking for? They
All right.
should be good.
let's haggle this up a bit. See if I can sell him this skooma.
Deal. Deal. Let's see.
Corn! I'm selling, this corn looks like the corn I cooked and left on my table.
For twice that price to the right customer.
Oh, this tobacco looks like the tobacco I bought the other day. It's pretty good. Where do you get this good tobacco? Oh, my manual of arms. I have two of those for some reason.
Price to the right.
Oh, a bear pelt. Looks just like the bear pelt I had.
Right. You drive a hard bargain.
You drive a hard bargain. Who do you think you are, waving your hand around like some kind of Jedi?
You'll just walk
Alright.
away like you don't know me.
What's your favorite Solomon Kane story? I don't know. What do we have in here? There's some in here that I haven't read yet. So, I gotta read those too. I don't know, I'll have to think about it. Yeah, there's a couple here I haven't read. Because I read them in like other collections or things like that. I haven't really dug into that book yet.
Shadow Eye.
I think I've read all the Conan stories. There's a bunch of, I mean, there's so many good ones though. I think what's good to read if you haven't read these two is read by this Axe I Rule, which was never published. It's Cole, and then Robert E. Howard rewrote it as I think the Sword and the Phoenix with Conan. They're both pretty good to read. All right. All right, let's head over here, and then I'll probably call it a night because it's 8 o'clock. But I appreciate the chats. What's your favorite Star Wars and Star Trek films, and which you feel is better? I think I like Star Trek more than Star Wars. Favorite Star Trek films, I guess Wrath of Khan and Star Trek 6, and then First Contact. Maybe in that order. Those are the three that I like the best.
Good afternoon.
I have picked up my reward and received my next contract. I have picked up my next contract from the dead drop in the Castle Skin Gredwell. I have been ordered to kill the Khajiit Jagasta, who can be found in his house in Bruma. Jagasta is a master of unarmed combat and will prove a challenging opponent. I should also be aware that Jagasta is expecting trouble and has paid off the guards to look the other way if our fight spills out into the city streets. So he's actually a member of the Black Hand, just so you know. You can also get his black hand robes at level 1, but I didn't do that for this playthrough because it was kind of cheating, I guess. So, here's a clue that you could tell, though. If you go over here to the dead drop orders, notice they have different icons. So this one, serve me well, silencer. You know. The necromancer is dead. Yes. Here it's handwritten. It's a different writing. So they give you a little clue that something's different. Are you ready to get your hands dirty, silencer? Your next target is a Khajiit nobleman by the name of Jagasta. Yeah, so this is when the other guy takes over it, and then you're no longer working for Lucian after this. So, all right, that's probably it for today, guys. What are your thoughts on the noble savage archetype? I think I like Robert E. Howard's take on it, where it's a 19th century idea, which is the idea that the man who is closer to nature is more noble, like the noble savage. The problem is that it's not a real thing. It's really an urbanized city folk from the 19th century is where it started. Looking across at a country, looking at the country and the wilderness, locations he doesn't really understand, and then seeing kind of the emptiness of urban life and comparing the two. And that's not really... that doesn't really tell the whole story. So I think it's great. I think in the 19th century, they looked at the American Indian as this great example of the noble savage without really knowing anything about him, his lifestyle, his beliefs, any of that kind of stuff. So one of my old teachers named Bruce Thornton talks about this in a book he wrote called Plagues of the Mind, the New Epidemic of False Knowledge. And one of those is the white man's golden age, red man is what he calls it. This idea that, and it's now commonly people talk about it, the American Indian was closer to nature, and you always have a portrayal of them in movies like praying over the soul of a duck that they killed. It's like none of that's real. Okay, they were people. Okay, and they were people not that different in terms of their capacity for moral action than the Europeans who conquered them. Though their religious beliefs were different, and their lifestyles were different, obviously. They weren't morally better. They did plenty of bad things as well. So, but we have this idea that they were somehow more refined or better because they were closer to nature and separated from this hellscape called a city. That's not really reality. If you've lived in the country or the city, there's bad people in both places. Just because somebody lives outside the city doesn't mean that they're automatically a moral person. Having to labor intensely to make crops grow from the ground does not automatically make one have better character or something like that too. So anyway, guys, thanks so much. We're out of time. So if you see me later on, I didn't mention my favorite Star Wars films. I'd probably say the original Star Wars is my favorite film. Star Wars 77, my favorite Star Wars film. It's just great. It's bang on great. I like Empire Strikes Back a lot too. I like Return of the Jedi a lot too for its themes, more than I guess its overall construction. I haven't done a full analysis of that, and I'll do that. It'd be kind of, I don't know, I put that one off because I'm like, I just don't want to talk about Star Wars for a while. But anyway, I'll talk about that at some point. Anyway, thanks, guys. I will see you guys next time. Have a great one. And, I don't know, newest books. What's the newest books? I have new books coming out at some point here, too. I had a big monkey wrench thrown into my plans by this coronavirus thing, and I haven't really figured it all out yet. So I'm still working on that. So Tyrant's Gallow, it's the newest one, but you should probably start with this one, City of Silver, number 1. Number 3, hopefully I'll get that out this year. I'm trying my best. I have a huge catalog of stuff to do and not that much time to do it. So thanks, guys, and I will see you next time.